The Signs Language of Adam. This is a book about the development of human language, and I'm explaining it. So we are speaking in prehistoric symbols. Ancient prehistoric symbols predating the last ice age, mixed with symbols from the beginning of the agricultural revolution, formed into the language we know and use. The book deals with new revolutionary claims following my study of the origin of the Hebrew and English letters, their meaning from the development, the beginning as pictographs, later their development into other languages such as Greek, Latin, and Indo-European languages, and the use of the same letters in roots, both in Hebrew and in European languages. To illustrate, the book also has an overview of certain root cases in the Bible and the use of the letters in those roots and their manifestations in modern European languages. The roots meanings, contexts for Hebrew and European languages are also explained. The book also explains how the European languages and surprisingly speech were formed through the same signs and symbols. A language teacher studied law and computer science, has reverse engineered the language roots, and together with a historical research that has taken place for over 7 years has unveiled the meaning of the letters. This book would interest people who are interested in human origin, history, culture, evolution, linguistics, Hebrew, English, Latin, German, Indo-European, ancient Egypt, and furthermore. A history of the world, 9 mysterious scripts. Okay, there are some other books which are similar, but they don't actually have the same information, unfortunately. So they are dealing with these themes, but don't have the same information. So, and I will give you an abstract. So Hebrew was the language of nomads. Before the agricultural revolution, we were all nomads. We were all hunter-gatherers. We didn't stay in one place. And mostly, for most of the time, most of humanity did not live in a cave. This is a myth. The caves were used for worship and as shelters for a short time, but people couldn't live in a cave for a long period of time because there was no food around. See, if they would start making children and reproduce, there's not enough food near the cave for everyone, and quickly the food would be redundant, and they would have to go searching for better hunting grounds and for a gathering place with more food. So they couldn't actually live in one place. They had to keep traveling. So Hebrew was the language of the nomads, and one of the oldest languages in the world, has been extensively researched, and yet new archaeological and scientific discoveries are constantly being made concerning its origin. There is plenty to discover. For example, in pre-Hebrew, and these are the same roots, but it's all discussed in my book. In the last decade, history has been rewritten as previous beliefs were proven wrong, and earliest settlements in the world are beginning to be discovered. For example, in Turkey, those discoveries shed new light on the brink of agricultural revolution and the transition from hunter-gatherers to agricultural settlements. Those prehistorical discoveries shed light on the development of language. For example, I'm giving the site in Ohalo near the Sea of the Galilee, Kinneret, which was discovered as probably one of the earliest places where agriculture started, about 20 to 22,000 years ago, which is a long time ago. And those people traveled, they didn't stay there. They kept on traveling, and the information spread very slowly, but it did. So modern European written languages appeared quite late in history. Where did the root of the words come from in these languages? The book answers these questions, giving many examples and detailed explanations of the various roots in an understandable resolution that stems from the building blocks of language, the letters. It turns out that many languages in the world, perhaps most, derive directly from ancient Hebrew roots and its letters building blocks. So it's not exactly as the Hebrew we're speaking today, but it's an older language which is very similar, or the roots at least. Could have been sounded slightly different, but similarly enough. The book provides a background overview of the development of language science, its Hebrew roots, and other European languages. You see, I claim that the language actually developed following the science, and we are speaking in science, and not the other way around. It's not the signs that are reflecting the way we speak, the sounds of the letters. It's actually the other way around, as far as I researched. History review of the language development, and ignoring some of the current linguistics and language baseless speculative science. See, you cannot say it's baseless. There are some scientific claims today, but some of them are baseless, some of them are fictional, some of them are imaginary, some of them are based on science which was proven to be wrong, and it keeps changing all the time. The division to linguistic families has changed dramatically throughout the last 10 years, and it keeps on changing because there are always new discoveries, and it's not something very based. So it's mostly speculative, it's very disputed, there are many different schools. Some of it is very non-scientific, a lot of it actually, and was based previously on racist theories and perceptions that were appropriate in the 17th century Europe, but does not have any information regarding the sources and has been subject to debate for years. I'm giving actually the sources in my book, from which I've come with through my research, and I hope it's going to interest you as well. So for the first time, the book opens a door that has been closed until now, through which the Bible can be seen in different lights. You can understand words in the Bible differently, as well as understanding the meaning of the words we speak and historical cultural context of different religions and peoples around the world, from Asia, Africa, Europe, and America. The book is written with the hope that when scattered Hebrew peoples spread around the world, among the nations, understand their language, because I believe we were all once Hebrews, we were all travelers and nomads. See, the word Hebrew refers to bar nomads, bar meaning fields, field travelers. We were all travelers before the agricultural revolution, and when that spread to some parts of Europe, it was actually quite late, a few thousand years ago. People used to travel much more as a way of life. And hopefully will promote world peace and acceptance of what seems different. In practice, we are all one big family, closer than you think. And not much serious research has been done for the background and formation of the roots of words, and I can actually explain. I've researched it. This research I did analyzes the meaning of the letters, and through reverse engineering brings about the meaning of the roots and the letters and how they were formed, meaning the roots. The book has 4 volumes. These are 4 books. Well, each of the volumes is about 300 to 400 pages, so it's pretty long. That's why I divided it to 4 volumes. Each of them discuss some of the letters, because each of the letters and their development and their appearance in roots could be quite tiresome if you take it all at once. So you can't chew and digest all the information at once. So I broke it to different books, and each chapter deals with a different letter. I hope you will find it interesting. For example, there are things which answers the questions, for example, how the bull, one of the first domesticated farm animals, is related to the letter Aleph, even before its domestication, and how alpha is related to strength from the word Aleph. The numeral eins, the one, the number 1, the divinity, and how the letter Aleph became the letter A in English and German and other languages, which is actually the ox turned upside down. and I'm also explaining why that happened. How the invention of a tent made of cowhide, cow skin, to withstand cold weather. It's not just cows, it's large animals like elephant, Aleph, strong and big. So how it turned out to be a house, and the letter bet. And this was very necessary throughout the Ice Age. They always had to chase after large herds of animals to hunt them. Is related to the house sign, the letter bet, and the number 2, and the cow. Letter Gimel, I'm explaining how it's related to the foot, to religion, to ruling, to the government, and things that rule. How it is related to words as well as the number 3 and the camel. The letter Daled, I'm explaining how it's became to be the delta sign, the number 4, related to the construction of great temples in Mesopotamia, the pyramids, to measurements, to the invention of the potter's wheel, the carriage wheel, and the nomadic life that completely changed after this invention more than 5,000 years ago, and how it is all related to the Star of David symbol, which has to do also with the letter David, letter Daled. How it also, because of the exchange of Lamed and Resh, so Daled and Dret, everything that rotates, how it's related. So the letter Hey, how is it related to the ancient worship, to worship of mountains, related to fire, worship of fire, to water, to Pan, the Pan worship, which is the water god but also god of fire, and mountains, mountain heights, and temples which were built on top of mountains, and the number 5. So everything to do with Pan and Pund, it's also 5, also in Indian languages, like in the land of 5 rivers, Punjab, which I'm explaining in my book. So hope you will find it interesting. This and much more, you can read it in my book, The Sign Language of Adam. Please contribute to the book. I'm leaving a link to my crowdfunding page. If hopefully the crowdfunding will raise enough money so I can translate the book to many different languages for everyone to be interested in it, and to help promote also world peace through understanding of how our language developed and religious concept, because I'm also explaining that. And whoever contributes, there are different kinds of rewards, or if you have lost a loved one, I can write the name as a memory in the on the front pages of the book, and there are this and much more in my crowdfunding page. I'm leaving a link below. Whoever cannot contribute, please wait for the book, and hope you will find it interesting, and I will try to make it as affordable as possible. Thank you very much, and take care. Goodbye.